today we are going to make a ring with this highlight. Ooh, hey. I'm going to start with 20 gauge round and 20 gauge half round wires. I'm going to shoot to make a size 9. Get requests a lot for sizes 8 and 9 in rings. So I'm going to cut 3 pieces of this 20 gauge round wire. Let's see how long they are. They're probably going to be longer than we need. 8 inches, almost exactly. We're going to bind those 3 pieces of 20 gauge round with some 20 gauge half round here. Oh, thank you for the like. If you're here in the live and you happen to have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Shop links in my bio. If you have any questions about anything there or that you see on the screen, just let me know. We're going to leave enough space here that we'll have wire to work with when it comes time to set the stone. But we're going to wrap this band here. Judah's home for the day. He did his final exams for his distance learning. Impressive kid. He's done a regular class load this year along with 2 extra courses and independent study so that he could graduate on time after our time homeschooling. Super proud. So we're just going to continue with this 20 gauge half round until we've got almost a size 9 band. And again, this is 20 gauge round and 20 gauge half round wires. You know what I should do? I should make a little chart, measure each size that I make regularly with like just a piece of wire, and then make a little chart of how long to make the shank to make the size of ring I want to make. Love this highlight though. Last one I've got. If you have any questions and you're watching the replay, please feel free to leave those in the comments. And don't forget to follow me over on the Clock app. There on TikTok, I go live almost daily. And just make everything for the shop, almost everything for the shop live. Unless I'm experimenting with a new design or learning something new myself. Sometimes over there I do live events where you can choose your stone, choose your wire, and watch me wrap it live. We call them wrap-a-thons. It's fun. But folk have been begging for tutorials for some time now. And even though there are plenty of other more proficient wire wrappers than I who make tutorials, my excuses got shut down when somebody finally said, "I prefer to learn from you." Okay, fine. I'll do it. But I have a really hard time editing down videos that I make, in a situation where I'm not live. So I figured coming live on YouTube at least once a week and then just reposting those live videos as tutorials was the best way to make it work. We need a few more wraps here to get the shank to be a 9. And we'll only need about 4 wraps around all 6 wires when we make them meet here in just a second. Still not quite there. Just a couple more. Alright, here we go. We're going to bind now all 6 wires. With that same piece of 20 gauge half round. I'm gonna try 4 here and then lay this on top of that eyelight and see. That should be just about right. We might end up doing a 5th. Yeah, 1 more wouldn't hurt. Alright, and then pull that down. Pull that as tight as I can get it. In there. And pull that one down. And then we have our platform for our stone, and I'm going to take this half round around the other side a couple of times just to lock in the size and shape of this ring. And then I want to let that end finish on top. I'm going to let that wire end on top, away from the skin. And we're actually going to end up covering that part with some of these decorative wires after we go over and get the stone in. Okay, so once we have this set up, we're going to pull the middle wire from each side. So the farthest one to the inside from each side. We're going to shape it with a little dome there. We'll tighten down once we get the stone in. But these are going to be our support wires that hold the stone down into the ring. We want them to fit over it nice and tight. Ah! Don't want to flatten it that much. Love the color of this highlight. Gorgeous blue that kind of borders on purple. A little blurple for you. I usually just lock this wire down nice and secure with my flat nose pliers and trim it off. And we'll go over that again. Bam. Click. All right. Now we'll go with the next wire out. And we're going to coil. I'm going to use 28 gauge round to coil onto that wire. And we're going to use a method called finger drilling to coil this wire on. So I'm just going to put the tail under the ring and start the coil by hand, by wrapping it around a couple times. And then I'm going to position my fingers where they'll hold the 28 gauge onto the 20 gauge. And I'm just going to use those extra little arms to start spinning it. Occasionally stopping and pushing it up, tightening that little coil. And we don't need much because we're just going to take the coil over the ring, this space here, or over the stone. The coiled wires are a little uncomfy to wear on the underside of the ring, so I try to prevent them from having to pass through. It's also why I don't produce woven bands very often. It's a sensory thing for me. I try to make things that I would wear. And so if it's something that feels uncomfortable to me, it's not something I want to try to put my customers through. I'm going to spin that off of there rather than cut it because it'll get it closer inside than I can do. So that's where we're at now. All right, now let's coil this wire on this side. Same thing, putting that 28 gauge through the ring and then starting the coil by manually wrapping a few coils around that base wire and then using these extra wires to spin the piece. Let's do this. Which is why that method is called finger drilling. I love a little bit of texture. Wire is so versatile. It offers us so many ways to make different textures. Sweet. Let's try putting that through there. Oh, it did it anyway. Sweet. Wonderful. All right. Ugh, broke in the wrong place though. Silly thing. All right, and now our last wire on each side. Well, hello. How are you, Turtle Mom? Pretty little eyelight ring here. Getting pretty close to done. Just following that same path as the coiled ring, or the coiled wire, and the wire before it. Under the ring and then back on top. And we're going to use these to make a little swirl. Yay! I love that the rewatch option is available, though. I'm so thankful for that. I think it's a good solution for the folks who want to be able to replay things. It allows me to come to this particular live prepared to be very focused on showing and saying what I'm doing. So this is that second wire we came through, and this is the coiled wire. It just came under the ring and then back out again. And I like to take them and make a similar swirl to the one going over the stone. Whoop. I'm going to use my flat nose pliers to hold that there so I can pass that tail through there, through the ring band. And then we're going to anchor those right here and cut them off. Now it's this one's turn. All right. We'll clip our tails, and then I'll repress these down, and I'm going to go over them with a file to try to make it as smooth as possible to the touch and the least likely to catch on any articles of clothing or skin. We want to make it as wearable as possible. It is. It's a super simple design. It's one of the most basic wire wrap ring designs. I figured we should start with simple things. I'm going to work on making some shorts with just how to make an eye, an eye hook, how to make a head pin, a little knotted head pin, things like that. So I'm going to work on a few of those as well, just to get things moving over here. If you have suggestions or recommendations for tutorial things you'd like to learn, I'd love to hear those. If I'm going to make them, I want them to be useful, Again, with the tightening and the pushing and the making sure that everything is as secure as possible. I'll put this on here. We got a little bigger than a 9. We ended up with a 10. How'd I do that? It's all right. And I'm even going to take my hammer and tap on this a little bit. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will get the replay up ASAP. And like I said, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments. And I'll see you next week.